Today on Dixie Sun News at noon, the pair of burglars who targeted students' homes and cars are now behind bars. We have the details.
And DSU has just received a prestigious recognition. Find out what made our campus stand out to veterans.
You're watching Dixie Sun News with Missy Perry and Bo Yenchik. The voice of Dixie State University, Dixie Sun News at noon.
Welcome to the Dixie Sun News at noon. I'm Missy Perry.
And I'm Bo Yenchik. Thank you for joining us. Dixie State University campus police arrested the second and final suspect involved in a burglary at campus suites late Thursday evening. Jerry Lamar Jones III, a former DSU student, was arrested and charged with 1 count of drug paraphernalia, 1 count of criminal mischief, 1 count of theft by deception, 4 counts of theft, 2 counts of vehicle burglary, and 1 count of burglary of a dwelling. Hayden Michael Gray of Ivins was arrested January 31st and was charged with 2 counts of vehicle burglary, 1 count of theft by deception, 4 counts of theft, 1 count of criminal mischief, 1 count of providing false information to the police, 1 count of drug possession, and 1 count of paraphernalia possession. Both Jones and Gray are currently in custody.
For students with disabilities, the simplest activities can prove challenging. Dixie Sun News reporter Grant Jones shows us how service and emotional support animals give students the help they need to enjoy the college experience.
You may have seen them around campus. Today we're going to give you the inside scoop on their lives along with the lives of others who have service animals here on campus.
Fozzie, a red standard poodle, was trained to be a service dog at the Wolf Center in St. George, where Amber works.
Everybody gets really excited when they see him because he looks like a ginormous teddy bear. So, people who don't even like dogs approach me all the time and say that he is the most beautiful dog they've ever seen, and so he really loves getting attention from all students. At the Wolf Center for Active Pets, they do a test for dogs, which is called the CGC, which is the Canine Good Citizens Test. It basically just qualifies your dog to be a therapy dog or a service dog.
We interviewed Beverly Clark, DNC coordinator, about how the approval process works on campus.
We are required by law to meet certain requirements of their documentation. So when they, get that, then we have the students registered. Then we look at the different. Our director does. He reviews their file and looks at the different needs, their particular needs of their disability. If they've truly already had it registered as a service animal, it's just a matter of, filling out the application. They should already have everything in place.
Dogs aren't the only animals to qualify. Lindsay Hope has a cat named Calypso as a certified service animal.
You go in and say, hey, I'm looking for an emotional support animal. And so they kind of give you paperwork saying, basically, you have to register the animal through the school, you have to get the doctor's note. And then housing has their own kind of separate thing where you have to sign a contract saying they're just going to be in your room. It's really difficult to find housing off campus, even if you're approved through a disability resource center, because I've been looking at other options and there's just so many different standards that each place wants. Overall, it's worth it. She's worth it because she has helped me so much. So,
From Dixie Sun News, I'm Grant Jones.
Thanks, Grant. Dixie State University was recently designated as a military-friendly school for 2017. The atmosphere of the campus was recognized for making the transition from military life to school life less difficult for some veterans and active duty military members. Veterans Compliance Coordinator Stephen Roberts said the university has to meet certain criteria in order to receive military-friendly status. Some of those criteria include having a veterans club on campus, offering military scholarships, in-state tuition for veterans, no penalties for deployed military students, and military mentoring. For more information, visit DixieSunNews.com.
Culture shock in St. George? Students here at Dixie claim that that's what they are dealing with. Dixie Sun News reporter John Holland shares the changes and challenges Southern Utah culture has on students.
Students who are from another state or another country dealing with something called culture shock.
That people that are coming from other places, they're going to encounter culture shock no matter what.
When I first moved off the reservation, that was big change for me.
I used to pronounce Nephi as Nephi or Lehi as Lehi, and I think that's because of like the Spanish kicking in.
These students deal with culture shock in different ways.
I saw that people were different from me, and I was open to that, and I was open to learning from them.
People that had been here longer than I was, I could relate to them, but they also knew about it, so they helped me integrate myself. And then as that went by, I was able to feel more comfortable. So then I went ahead and started making friends outside of my comfort zone.
I interacted with a lot of different people and made new friends.
You're going to hit a crisis stage in culture shock, which eventually leads to like depression and like feeling homesick and stuff like that. But you want to find a group of people or at least one friend, you know, that you can kind of have throughout the experience so they can kind of guide you.
Local students can help.
I had different people and roommates who like invited me to like fun events.
First of all, be aware that they're different and you're different, and be a genuine person.
For Dixie Sun News, I am John Hall.
Thanks, John. The Dixie State University Film Studios won't be an empty hangar on the edge of a dusty red cliff for long. In March, the building will be transformed into a motel room for a feature film titled Room 10. Christy Shimmick, co-founder of the independent film production company Escapology and lead editor of an Emmy Award-winning short film, will be the production coordinator of Room 10. She is known for her work in Nocturne, Once I Was a Beehive, Random Acts, and Turning Point. Communication professor Phil Tuckett said the producers have invited students to be a part of the shoot, and they will be paid a daily personal assistance wage. Tell us about the Super Bowl. What a game.
It was a game. Did you guys have a chance to watch it?
I watched it.
I didn't.
Not much? Too much going on? Well, it was a doozy. And let me tell you, if you were one of the 111 million people that were lucky enough to watch that game, you were actually a part of history. Now, just keep going. Here we go. All right. We're working out the kinks. It's all good. So anyways, as I was saying, the Super Bowl, it was huge. You actually got to see a part of history as Captain America, Tom Brady himself, led the New England Patriots back from a 25-point deficit, the largest in Super Bowl history, to force overtime. Now, also a Super Bowl first. Now, the Pats took the opening kickoff down the field in overtime and took the championship winning touchdown to defeat the Atlanta Falcons 34-28. Now, with the win, Mr. Brady is now the first quarterback in the history of the league to win 5 Super Bowls. Now, moving on to more locally here at home, the women's basketball team at Dixie State took on Chaminade and a chance for the first back-to-back wins of the season for the Trailblazers. As we go to the highlights, Dixie State was able to get on the court and on the scoreboard first. Allie Franks hitting a couple of shots there, then kicking it out to Termina Jordan. Dixie State was off and running. Chaminade did mount a strong comeback and did keep it close, but Dixie State was able to keep off the Silver Swords with some stingy defense, as we see a steal there by Lisa Van Kampen, and then swinging up the court again to her teammate. Dixie State, again, controlled the pace with precise outside shooting, and then that opened up the lane to drive down the middle and get easy baskets. The Trailblazers went on to hold on to a win 76-74 in overtime, earning consecutive wins for the first time this season. Lisa Van Kampen was named Pac-West Defender of the Week for her efforts in the wins. Van Kampen averaged 6.5 points and 10.5 rebounds for the game, and 15 of her 21 rebounds came on the defensive side. Now, I head to the men's side. Chaminade came down to town looking to burst Dixie State's bubble and the 4-game win streak that it had been on. But it was the 4th of a 4-game road trip for the Silver Swords, and Dixie State blew the door wide open for their 5th consecutive victory. DSU would go on to cruise. Oh, we've got highlights of that. There you go. Look at that. So again, Dixie State, the men on the roll as Austin Montgomery takes the pick and roll, and then you've got Marcus Bradley working the blow block up and over for the easy 2. One of the players of the game, though, happened to be Daylor Youngblood. Daylor Youngblood scoring a career high. And we'll talk about him in just a moment as we see Kyler Nelson hit a three-pointer out there. And then Trevor Hill going strong for the layup. Again, Dixie State, one of the top defensive teams in the conference, with a steal and the halftime shot to beat the buzzer by Daylor Youngblood. Zach Hunter with the putback there, and then Kyler Nelson going strong to the hole, able to get up and 2 points there as well. Dixie State would cruise to a 102-66 win, as I mentioned, Daylor Youngblood finished with a career high 12 points and 4 rebounds. Zach Hunter also setting a new career high with 19 points as well. Now, moving on to the baseball diamond, the women's softball team, there we are, I'm figuring it out. The women's softball team started things off the right way, winning their first 4 contests of the season. 2 over Northwest Nazarene by a combined score of 19-3, and then moving on and defeating Montana State Billings in a doubleheader on Monday, winning both games 8-2 and 13-5 respectively. The ladies return home to host the Easton Classic this week, beginning on Thursday at the Snow Canyon High School softball field at 3 p.m. against Colorado State University Pueblo. On the men's side of the diamond, they're looking to get off to a hot start, continuing from last season's record 40 wins. Now, the men will be back home on Friday for the home opener against Colorado Mesa University. You can catch their first pitch at Hearst Field at 4 p.m. So, again, spring is in the air. You've got some baseball, you've got softball, but what a way to wrap up the NFL season with the Super Bowl. Do you think, was it a New England victory or was it an Atlanta Falcon loss?
I think the Falcons blew it, but that's just my opinion.
Think the Falcons blew it?
I think they blew it.
Well, you know what? Bill Belichick, like he said, there's always next year. So we'll have to see what happens next year.
Well, thanks, Ryan. We appreciate that. And that's a wrap for our February 8th edition of the Dixie Sun News at noon.
Thank you for joining us. We will see you right back here next week, same time, same place.